So point slope formula, given a point x1 and y1 and a slope m, point slope form says that y minus y1 equals m, the slope, times the group x minus x1. And this is a valid form of a line that can help us graph, and it can help us do anything we need to with the form of a line. And what's nice is that we really just plug in a point, x1, y1, and a slope, and we have it. So we are going to graph and write an equation for a line that goes through the point -2, 1 and has a slope of -6. So if I take y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, let's plug in what we know. So if I take y minus my y1 is 1 equals m -6 x minus -2, or I could say y minus 1 equals -6 times the group x plus 2. There's my equation in point slope form. Now, to graph this, I'm not going to go to a y-intercept like I would in slope-intercept. What I'm going to do is on my graph, I'm going to start at that point, -2, 1. And I'm going to move in a direction of slope of 6. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 1. Or I could go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and -1 there. I take my points. I connect my line. And I label this as y minus 1 equals 6 times the group x plus 2. So that's -6 equals -6 times the group x plus 2. Now, let's look if we have a point 3, -2 and a slope of 1/4. Again, into y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. I'm going to put y minus -2 equals slope of 1/4 times x minus 3. And I can simplify this, y plus 2 equals 1/4 times the group x minus 3. Now, when I need to go to graph, I go to the point 3, -2. And I take a slope of 1/4, so I go up 1 and over 4, up 1 over 4. Or I go down 1, back 4, down 1, back 4. I take my straight edge, I make a graph that goes clear from one side of the plane to the other. When I make my line, and I write my equation, y plus 2 equals 1/4 times the group x minus 3. So we can write equations in point slope, and we can graph in point slope. Now, let's do a little bit of work to convert one form to the other. So if we're going to start with point slope, y minus 1 equals 7 times the group x plus 5. And we want to write it in standard form. Remember, standard form is ax plus by equals c, and a is positive, remember. So I'm going to distribute y minus 1 equals 7x plus 5. Let's see, I need to get my x and my y on the same side, so I'll bring y over. So I'll have -1 equals 7x minus y. Oh, this should not be just 5, this should be 35, because we carry distribution over. Plus 35, and let's see, I'll subtract 35, and -36 equals 7x minus y, but that's not quite there yet, so we have 7x minus y equals -36. We went from point slope, we did some literal equations work, and we rearranged our equation. So this is the same equation of a line as here, just written in standard form. And we can do the same in slope-intercept form when we take y plus 6 equals -3x minus 4 and write it in slope-intercept form. Remember, that's y equals mx plus b. And so we want to solve for y, essentially. So I'm going to take y plus 6, and I'm going to distribute -3x plus 12, and then I'll subtract 6 on both sides and get y equals -3x plus 6. Shoe fly. So y equals negative 3x plus 6. I took this equation. These are the same lines. If you were to plot these, it would be the same exact lines. But we just wrote it and we took it from point slope. Point slope, remember, y minus y1 equals m times the group x minus x1, and wrote it in slope intercept, y equals mx plus b. Now for our practice problems, we are on page 590, not 7, 598. Number 12 through 33 multiples of 3. For 12, we take the point 2, negative 1 with the slope of negative 3, and we put it in point slope, and then we graph. There's 3 that you'll have to graph. Please graph 3 on graph paper. If you ever need more, don't hesitate to ask.